want to put our money somewhere where it's not just going to turn into dirt. We want to, I mean, unless you're, a gardener and you really like dirt, but, money is just not worth what it was yesterday, and it will be worth less tomorrow.
Biggs and Boggs.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Hey guys, and welcome back to your future home, Biggs and Boggs. I'm Marty Boggs.
And I'm Julian Biggs.
And we got Spencer on sound and screens. Thanks for joining us, folks. Make sure you smash that like button, and let's get right into it. What are we up to today, and how can we plan for tomorrow? Julian.
Today, we are going to talk about how South African Republic just made Bitcoin legal tender, second country to do so. So big things. This is bullish in my opinion, not big moves yet. So we are looking a little bearish. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about how the psychology of the market changes when times get bearish like this, and how people kind of stop watching the YouTube videos and they stop following, stop paying attention because their bags are down. But this is the time you should pay attention. So we're going to talk about that and how we're going to fill our bags right now for this next move in our future hands. So we're going to get into it. A little bit of market scope first. Markets go.
Markets go.
Markets go. So, of course, right now we are looking at the Bitcoin versus US dollar chart on the daily time frame. Going to get zoomed in here so we can see what's going on, but we're still above the trend we've been riding for some time. Just now kind of flirting with the bottom side of this line here. But as you can see, we have made wicks to the downside in the past couple of months. So I do think that this is kind of that last shakeout, this ultimate shakeout we're going to see hopefully before a move before another summer cool off. So we're going to get under this line. We are getting under this line, but the question is May going to be green, or are we going to see another long dragged out bear market here? What do you think, Marty?
Well, let's see. Honestly, I think we kind of touched on it last week. We're going to probably trend down, but it's not going to be drastic. I think it's going to be a long, drawn out, just like you said, like everybody wants to go long, and when everybody wants to go long, that's when it goes down. And if the sentiment is that that it's going to go down, then people are going to short, and then that's where the liquidity is, and it's going to go up. Mm-hmm. So, like you just said, people are, they're not as involved, and like, I don't know, do you have the volume on there?
I don't have the volume.
We've seen that the trading volume is down significantly in the last year. So, I mean,
But what does that tell you?
Well, it's one of two things. I mean, obviously people are either holding it and they're not trading it, or people are just less interested in general. So yeah, maybe they are.
But the fact that we've held these steady prices above $30,000 and been trading between $30,000 and $45,000 over the last year and hitting a high of 69, that to me just tells me that the reason the trading volume is low is because people are holding on to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
it's
they're not selling it.
It's not
that
they're not interested. It's just off exchanges. They're still holding it. Otherwise, Bitcoin would be worth less money.
Well, yeah, of course.
So I wanted to look also at the SPX here. So S&P 500, the stock market index. We look at this because lately the Bitcoin market and crypto market has been really correlated with this. And if we look at this, we're zooming out back to June and July last year in 2021. Before making that big run up, just as Bitcoin did to its high there, and we're kind of nearing those levels now. So this pivotal moment is coming, and I personally can't see a giant crash, but maybe the giant crash is coming. Maybe this recession is coming, but we are nearing those lows from the crash into the new year. We're down at these levels here. So I do think there's a potential for this another shakeout back to the level that we were at in June, July here. May, June, the crash that we had last year. We could see another wick low here before we get moving up. But the fear is really high right now, so people are getting shooken out. Like I said, and all these really top YouTubers accounts, things like that. The views are way down.
Nobody
people
cares.
aren't as interested. But this is really the time that you should be watching, and this is the time where you can make money. Even if you start buying in December, it's unfortunate. We were buying in December too because we thought it was going to run to $100,000, but that didn't happen.
I wonder why we thought that.
Yeah, because of YouTube. But that's why we're here now, because we're trying to share a more realistic message. And you're never going to catch hopium here. We may have a little clickbait here and there, but
yeah, that's for algorithm. We're fucking with the computer, not you.
You're not going to catch any hopium here. We're never going to be 100K is imminent, which
it is
in the future. It probably is, but we're not going to post those kind of videos here like last year. Everyone was saying 100K is just around the corner, 100K by December, and everything was going to happen.
We don't want to feed you bullshit.
No,
it's
we
not
don't.
why we're here. We're here for the complete opposite reason. We were sick of getting fed bullshit.
Yeah, but the reality is here that we are nearing those lows that we did last year, and if these people are still holding the Bitcoin, if they have the long-term plan, I can't see it going much lower. So
well, no, like you just said, like so the volume has been relatively low, but it's maintaining all this support. So no one's really selling their Bitcoin. No one's dumping their bags.
Right. So we'll go back to Bitcoin here,
like we've seen in the past, where when it hits the all-time high and starts to come down, it comes down 90%.
Yeah.
We've only saw, what was that? It came down 50%, I think, from this one. Yeah. So we didn't go up, 300-400% like we have in the last time. We went up 300%, came back down 50%. So literally, I mean, if you bought Bitcoin 2.5 years ago, you're still happy. And
well, if you bought Bitcoin 2.5 years ago, you bought it for $7,000 or $6,000.
Yeah. So I mean, the first time I bought Bitcoin, it was $2,500. It's all about time in the market, folks, not timing the market. Yeah, first time I bought Bitcoin, I think it was late 2016. First time I saw Bitcoin was 2013, and it was like 13 cents, and I didn't buy it. And I was like, I don't know about that. I liked it. I understood the idea at the time, but it was really hard to get at the time. It wasn't as easy. There wasn't applications. The technology hadn't caught up yet. So you had to be a little bit more into that whole sort of thing in coding and figuring that shit out more, which I wasn't at the time. So I didn't know what to do. I thought it was cool, but I didn't know how to do it. So I knew it was a thing, forgot about it for some years, and then got back into it in 2016, 2017, just in time for a nice bull run. It was actually kind of nice. But then I ended up selling a bunch of it. So I should have just held it, and I would have because I thought 10 grand Bitcoin, I thought 12 grand Bitcoin, I thought 14 grand Bitcoin. I was like, just dump it. And then I was like, I didn't need the money. I just was like, it's a trade, right? So, but whatever. Basically what you've learned is that Bitcoin is something that it's getting to a point where trading Bitcoin is becoming less value, and just owning Bitcoin and holding Bitcoin is becoming more valuable. And that's why we see this big decrease in trade volume compared to the last few years when things were going crazy and the market's going up. People are starting to realize that this is not going anywhere. Yeah. This is going to be what people expected it to be when it was developed.
And even the miners now too, big mining factories and stuff like that, they're not selling their Bitcoin anymore.
No, everybody's holding. Everybody's holding, and you should be dollar cost averaging if you're not.
And so even if it does get a little bit lower from here, I'm personally waiting for a little bit lower. We're at $38,356 at the time of filming this video, and I'm personally waiting for a little bit lower because I think they might try to shake a few more people out before another move up. I feel like right now we're on this weekly trend line support, and there's probably a lot of people stacking some longs thinking that this is the last low. So I feel like they're probably going to get taken advantage of. This thing's going to wick a little bit lower, and then make a good run up, or at least a steady incline again towards its value, because it doesn't have a whole lot more room to go down. I mean, what I've got for an ultimate bottom here on my chart anyway is 27.7. So
but if it went down there, it would bounce so fast.
Oh, so hard.
That's another thing too that I want to point out that's quite a bit different since I've been watching it for a few years. And when I was watching it back in 2017, 2018, 2019, whenever there was a sell-off, it would just absolutely dump. Yeah. And it would not get bought back up. It would just dump, and you would see massive candle closes. Nowadays, we're seeing bigger wicks. So when it does dump, it's getting bought up literally instantly. So that's just how it's going to work, because there's a small amount of people that own a lot of Bitcoin, so they're going to sell it. So you have to expect this sort of thing. But what that shows is that there is a lineup, literally a lineup of people waiting to buy at all these prices with all these limit orders, and that's why that happens so fast.
Yeah, these are preset orders. Yeah, these aren't people waiting to buy.
We're talking about thousands of transactions per second here. So that's another thing I want to talk about, because I saw somebody in the family ask me about it a couple weeks ago, and they're just like, totally cognitive, not believing whatsoever. It's a scam, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, yeah, 99.9% of it is stupid. But when it comes to Bitcoin, I mean, like that's why do you think so many people are trying to copy it? Like, why do you think so many people are trying to copy it? Yeah. Because it's the shit. Okay, that's why it's the best asset that'll hold your value when we're living in a fiat world where the inflationary dollar is going to zero. Yeah. You need something that has a certain amount in there that's not going to be made more of.
I like that. So we know that the fiat dollar is going to zero. So we don't know what it does. Everyone's like, well, why would I buy Bitcoin? Because $20 is always worth $20. It's like, no, actually $20 is worth 15% less today than it was.
Think about a loaf of bread. What's a loaf of bread worth?
Right.
What's your gas? What's your full tank worth?
People need to understand that $20 is not always $20, and $20 today is not
$100 today is $20 3 years ago. Pretty much, not really, but if you're talking bills,
so one Bitcoin is always going to be worth one Bitcoin. And that's it. And when we're in a failing monetary system and a failing fiat dollar, that we can honestly see the transition into Bitcoin go, and countries now adopting it as legal tender. If we go that way, that's the reality. One Bitcoin will always just be worth one Bitcoin, regardless of what its value is. One Bitcoin is always going to be worth one Bitcoin.
Yeah, it was designed
to be... The fiat dollar it's not. It's not worth.
It is, but that $1 doesn't get, like, if anybody is 40 plus, they know that they went to the corner store when younger and they bought 1 cent candies. If anybody is 20 plus, they know they went to the corner store when they were younger and they bought 5 cent candies.
Yeah.
I went and took my kid to the corner store the other day, and there's no such thing as either of them. It's like you get these candy bags for like $1. Or $5 or whatever it was, and it's like you get like 3 or 4 candies.
The candies
like,
don't even taste different anymore, though.
No, and then
all the
also
same.
there's so many other things too, just like just anything that you buy from the store. If it's not smaller, then they've actually just cut the bottom out of the container, and you don't even. It looks the same on the shelf, but then you pick it up, and literally half of the bottom is carved out, because that's how, like, everyone's protecting their investment, right? And you can't be giving away that sort of stuff for the same amount of money if you're not making any money, right? Everyone's got to protect their margin. If you have a business, the reason that you're in that business is to make money. So you don't have a business if you don't make money. So with the fiat dollar doing what it's doing and what it's designed to do, you have to inflate your prices every year. You have to figure out one way or another how to continue to make the equal margin. Because you also have to pay your employees more every year as the dollar goes down, because it's worth less for them. Yep. So you're constantly like strangled to make this margin, and it's impossible because you're literally fighting an uphill battle. You're watching the U.S. dollar is just crashing, and you're trying to like swim upriver, and it's just falling down. And so the reason why Bitcoin was developed in the first place was to stop this, because we know now that systems and things that we use, that we developed early on in life in mankind, it doesn't work anymore. There's too many of this, there's too many of that, there's not enough of this, there's not enough of that. It's a whole bunch of it worked at the time. They spark an economy, they get things going, but now, so we're living in an era where things are kind of okay for a long period of time. Hundreds of years ago, you would have an empire for a couple hundred years, and then it would get taken over by another empire for a couple hundred years, and then you'd have another people, and things didn't last.
So what are you saying? The United States time is coming to an end here?
Well, that's obvious. I mean, it's
I know. I'm just it's one of these.
There's a reason why they're pumping it up as much as they possibly can. It's not going to fail. It's because it's
no, it is going to fail. It's going
to change.
There's not a single one that has succeeded.
I know, but we're at it. But no one has ever had Bitcoin before.
What's that? No, yeah.
No one's ever had a digital asset. No one's had access to something that we can actually.
But it's not held by any empire. It is its own entity that is controlled by nobody.
By everybody
except
but
for
nobody.
Its holders.
Exactly.
Everybody but nobody. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
there's never been such thing.
So it can't fail. Like, Bitcoin was designed to last 1,000 years, and it will.
Oh yeah.
As long as we last.
But just like anything, humans will ruin it. Humans ruin everything.
Yeah.
And they will somehow find a way to ruin Bitcoin. But it's your best chance for the next 50 to 100 years. By far your best chance to do anything, unless you're already in real estate and regularly trading and buying properties.
Next couple hundred years. So if you think about it, if the last Bitcoin is going to be printed in 2130. So that means we have another.
Generations.
There's another 100 years of the value of Bitcoin going up.
Yeah, because the amount is going down. It's or the availability is going down. Right.
Yeah.
So it's.
I'd be curious to know what Bitcoin would be worth when the last one is printed.
Well, it's crazy. It'll be worth 1 Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's true. That is true, because 1 Bitcoin will always be worth 1 Bitcoin. I think that's it.
Yeah. No, we didn't talk about South Africa.
Oh, we didn't talk about South Africa.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, the South African Republic, second country now. I'm pretty sure that's only second country, El Salvador, and now the South African Republic have made Bitcoin legal tender. So, you know, this
I have a quick question for you.
Yes.
Are both of them were they dollarized before? Like you have like a U.S. dollar dollarized. I don't know what the term is. But
yeah, I can't honestly speak to South African Republic, but yeah, basically
they were countries that already did not have their own value.
They might have.
They did not have their own. Well, it was heavily inflated and worth nothing if they did.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I can't remember. Yeah, I don't remember.
So basically, that's happened to every country, and the U.S. dollars come in and says, "Okay, well now you can use our dollar
because of the world reserve currency."
Exactly right. Yeah. So now the same thing is about to come in, but Bitcoin's now the new big shark.
And so, and the biggest thing about this, people are like, "Oh, it's just small countries that are getting into it." So it's like, what's the big deal if El Salvador uses Bitcoin? What's the big deal if South African Republic uses Bitcoin? Well, South African Republic is a great one, a bigger country and doing more things with Bitcoin, which is great. It's the second one. But the thing is that all the businesses, all the Western businesses that run in these countries, no matter how big or small they are, whether it's Starbucks or McDonald's or whatever the case may be, or whatever the store may be, they now in these countries have to accept Bitcoin. So now these major corporations that are global are holding Bitcoin on some balance sheet somewhere because they have to accept it in certain countries, right? And when they realize, like everybody else, that Bitcoin is only going up and it starts to be profitable, even if Bitcoin is not legal tender in other countries, they could potentially still accept it just because they want to accept it and they know it starts to be profitable. So I think that this is really going to help that mass adoption.
Well, and that's the thing too,
and flow into other countries because they're going to realize its efficiency and profitability.
And the cool thing about Bitcoin is it doesn't matter where you live, you can accept it.
Yeah, exactly.
You might not be able to use it yet for a certain thing, but don't worry about that because you're not looking to use it right now. You're looking to accumulate it because you want to buy low and sell high. Yeah. We are low right now. Although it may seem like we are high, or we are low compared to 2 years ago, year and a half ago, but we are still very high compared to 4 or 5 years ago. So it's like, and that's pretty well what we kind of think is going to continue to happen in the deflationary or inflationary dollar that it's being, combined against. So
the thing is now is that they've made inflation and all this jazz so public now that like it's over now for the fiat dollar. Okay, it's going to take time, whether that's another 10 years or 15 years. I honestly don't even think it's going to be that long.
No, I think maybe 2030 is a big year. A lot of people are talking about.
If Bitcoin is already being recognized by so many people as the most efficient thing to transfer to, then it will become the world reserve currency or monetary system. And there's going to be, of course, digital dollars for each country or whatever that will stay stable. But I do believe that Bitcoin will take that position. So, I mean, you shouldn't have to sell any of it.
Not anytime soon.
You should just be able to use it.
Yeah, don't worry about it because you can stake it and make your rewards and can continue to compound your interest.
Yeah.
And it's all about building generational wealth.
And hopefully by the time, in my opinion, by the time I've got enough Bitcoin that I want to sell because it's actually going to be, worth the profit that I want to take from it, there may not even be a need to sell it because you're just going to be able to use it wherever you go. You're going to be able to, you'll be able to, well, you can already use it as collateral for a loan. You can go and get loans and use Bitcoin as collateral, but 10 years from now, you're probably going to be able to buy property with Bitcoin.
Oh yeah. Well, you'll be able to use your tap just like anything. Like, so we've also seen quite a few of those Bitcoin ATMs popping up around. I mean, I know I've seen a few. I'm sure you guys have maybe seen a few. The first thing I'm going to ask you to do is, do you have a Bitcoin wallet? So if you have a Bitcoin wallet, you can put the QR code up to it. It scans it. And then you do whatever you want to do, whether you want to put cash or you want to use your credit card or debit card, and you can buy Bitcoin right there. So if the technology is already there for you to be able to tap some Bitcoin into your account from this machine at the mall, then that machine at the mall is going to be a handheld machine in a matter of years, if not months, if not already is in places in the world. And you'll be able to use your Bitcoin or any sort of crypto that they accept. Probably Bitcoin again, if you're on the fence about what crypto to look at, because there's so many of them. It'll
be easy.
Just Bitcoin. Yeah, it's going to be easy. And that's the thing, that's what basically what we're waiting for is the idiot proof. Once Bitcoin's idiot proof, then it's going to explode. Right now, it takes some time. It takes some patience. It takes some, attention span to do things. And and figure out what an address is, what your wallet is, and what all this stuff does. Like, it's not completely idiot proof yet.
It's funny because people are like, oh, I just can't. I don't have the time to understand it. It's like, okay, well, but you're on social media. And before you knew about social media, you didn't know about it, but you went and you sought it out. You found Facebook and you created a profile and you created an account and you did this and you did that.
Yeah, and one day at a time, you're figuring it out.
And then IG came around and then you figured that out and you got an account, and then Snapchat came around, you figured that out, and you got an account. You're just like, people are like, I don't have time to understand Bitcoin. It's like, it's literally the same thing. They're platforms. They run just the same. You find a wallet.
The only way for anybody to figure it out is do it.
Yeah, you register, you make an account like any other social media platform, but this one can earn you some money.
It will benefit your life and hopefully your whole family's life.
It's a network just the same. Bitcoin is a network just the same as Facebook and Instagram and Meta, I guess, if you want to call that now. It's a network just the same. It's a network that's growing just the same. And had you bought Facebook in 2010, you'd be a freaking millionaire.
Exactly.
Now.
And remember, this is all a Ponzi scheme. If you're worried about that too, it's all a stock market,
the world is
real estate, the world, everything's a Ponzi scheme. So it's all about. I wish I bought that a couple of years ago. It's buy it now.
We buy things today, hoping that somebody else pays more money for it tomorrow.
Yeah,
that's it.
And we know that they will.
That's how the fucking world operates.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. No matter what you're buying, unless you're consuming it.
Unless you're consuming it. It's like, it's either that or you're spending money and you don't have any. But it's like, you know what I mean? If you want money, if you want value, you want to do the things that you want to do, you buy the assets. The assets generate you the money that you want to have fun with.
Exactly.
And that's the one thing that we're not fucking taught. We're not taught that. We're taught to get a job and earn money, hold your fiat dollars as much as you possibly can,
so
because
burn away in your bank account.
That's it. You know what I mean? So you have that to spend on the things that you want. It's like, no. You take that money, you save some money, you buy revenue producing assets, whether that's stocks or
somebody holding money in the bank has never earned money on that money. No. Just holding it, never. Even peanuts. If you have a 4% GIC over whatever,
unless you have billions of dollars.
Yeah, well, you have to have a lot of money, but even them, they hold it in real estate.
Yeah, they don't put. Yeah,
nobody has ever made money on holding a US dollar, holding fiat currency. It just doesn't happen. No, there's no bank account out there that has even a par rate as inflation is affecting your dollar. Yeah. So literally, you cannot hold on to money. It's literally burning in your hand, burning a hole in your pocket.
That's literally happening.
Happening. So you need to spend your money. You need to continue to make money always.
But we don't just okay, my money's losing value, so I'm going to just go spend it and buy the things and have fun and have an experience. It's like, well, fuck Bitcoin. I just want to live and get party on the weekend and fucking,
Well, if you consume it, it's gone.
It's gone. But if we right now, especially when prices are low, we take a few minutes, we learn something new every day. This is and can be a retirement plan or a get rich quick scheme. But right now, while prices are low and hopefully going to turn up, this is when we want to buy. We can just literally use one of these platforms to stake it and go to sleep and walk away. And then we can use that staking interest earned to buy the things that we want to buy or reinvest that's when
you can start looking at other altcoins too.
You never have to touch your savings. You just keep putting $100 in, $100 here, $50 there, $50 there, whatever. And you just spend the money that comes out in the staking interest. You know what I mean? So yeah, it might take a while to build up some decent interest coming out of there. You obviously have to have a few bucks.
Yeah, the more money you have,
you can't just have the 50 or the $100.
The more money you have, the faster your money is going to grow, and that's just the way. I mean, that's just the way it is because it's a percentage game, right?
Like Solana just went up to 10%.
Yeah, Solana just went up to 10% on BlockFi, which is solid. So I actually just moved not a ton, but a few of my other coins into Solana because I'm going to take that 10%. Mm-hmm. Like I moved it out of a couple coins that were earning me 2.5%, and I put it in 2.5 and 4% or something like that, and then I put it into Solana. So it's like it's a no-brainer, right? So I'm going to hold on to that 10% until, and that's another thing that I want to.
And that compounds interest as well, just like your credit card debt does too. That's the other thing that people don't understand. It's like, okay, well, I got UST is 20%. Okay, well, UST is 20% stable coin, so there's no fluctuation in this price. It doesn't really have any risk or carry any risk. It's just a savings account that offers me 20%. But I got 20% APY that's paid out either daily or weekly, gaining value in that account. So that 20% is accruing interest daily and compounding interest as it gains more value. It gains
and holding the same value as the U.S. dollar.
So it like I said, it's just like your credit card debt. You think, oh, I'm just paying, you know what I mean? I'm paying this and I'm paying my minimum payment. But if you're only paying that minimum payment, then you're only paying your interest off.
God.
And that just keeps racking up and keeps racking up.
That's terrible. So basically, crypto is the opposite of that.
And crypto's the opposite of that. You know what I mean? And you don't. It doesn't matter what your budget is. It could be $10. It could be $100. It could be $1,000. It could be $1 million. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Fuck. If you do use a credit card, make sure you pay it off. Goodness, people asking me about financial advice and they have credit card debt that's like off a credit card debt and it's like years in. And like
using credit cards is important for your credit.
Yeah, you have to use one, but you have to pay it off.
You can't carry more than a 30% balance on your credit card.
You should have your balance. I overpay my credit cards.
But yes. But if you're using more than 30% of your credit, like if your statement comes out and you've used more than 30% of the credit available, your credit score is going down, right? So it's like, yeah, you need a credit card. You got to book flights, you got to book hotels, you got to do this, you got to do that.
Even if you pay it off?
What's that?
Like, so if your balance is showing more than 30%, because like sometimes, like for instance, I put 20 grand on my credit card and then I pay it off.
Yeah,
right?
if it's paid off before the next statement is released.
Yeah.
But say this next statement release comes out and you've used 75% of the credit, and that next statement balance comes out showing that you've used 75%, that negatively impacts your credit. Mm-hmm. You need to stay within the 30% of the balance paid off. So you know, in order to keep your credit.
Either way, it's a typhoon that sucks you in, and it's like, oh my god.
But they are important. Like credit cards are important. They're important to build your credit score. You need two things to build credit and to have your credit score up. And we just actually talked about that. This is your future hand. This is not financial advice. If you really need financial advice, go to a bank and don't listen to us freaking ding dongs. Just we're all right.
Choice is yours.
This is not financial advice. But
YouTube's YouTube.
There's two ways to build credit, right? And that's revolving credit and installment credit. So, you know, if you have a loan and you're making installment payments on that, that's an installment credit. Revolving credit would be your credit cards and things like that. But if you're using more than 30% of your credit limit on a monthly basis, it will negatively impact your score. So,
Anyways, don't look away, folks. Things are about to get interesting one way or another. And either way, we're dollar cost averaging in. If that's still the plan, if that's your plan, then you're going to be fine. And remember, it's like a 5 to 10 year savings plan, right? We want to put our money somewhere where it's not just going to turn into dirt. We want to, I mean, unless you're, a gardener and you really like dirt, but, money is just not worth what it was yesterday, and it will be worth less tomorrow. So we need to find somewhere where our value at least stays level or goes up. Because obviously over time, your body doesn't last forever and you can't work forever, and you need something. You don't want to be those old people that are, cardboard on the windows eating cat food. Okay. Nobody wants to be there. So let's be smart while we're young, while we still have some time.
They got this new pulled chicken one though.
Take advantage. Take advantage. Oh, Jesus. All
right.
That was a delay.
This is a good long episode today.
Yeah. Biggs and Boggs out.
Biggs and Boggs out.
Peace.
Biggs and Boggs.